what happened over there. Yes. Now we are learning chapter 318, the laws of cooking. The laws of cooking. Okay, in here he also explains general laws about punishment. So let's go and see. Let's see what he says. And this is from the Alter Rebbe's Shulchan Aruch, Orach Chaim, laws of Shabbos, and Shin Yud Chet, the law of boiling on Shabbos. There are 31 chapters, 31 laws, I'm sorry. Shin Yud Chet, the law of one who cooks on Shabbat, and in it are 31 chapters. Let me get my pointer back. One who cooks on Shabbat or does one of the other things or transgresses one of the other prohibitions on Shabbat, on purpose, b'mezid, asur lo la'olam, it is forbidden for him forever, lehanot me'oto malacha, to get any pleasure from what he did. Why not? Mishum, because of knas, a penalty. Gama kadera, also the pot that he cooked in it, it's forbidden forever. Because it is belua, it is permeated midavar asur lo, for something that is forbidden. Okay, so what's going on here? We have someone calls you, you're the rabbi, someone calls you to the house, says, I want to make my kitchen kosher. This Shabbos, I was watching, videos, and I saw some rabbi, he made a lecture, knocked me out. I decided, that's it, I'm going to keep Shabbos from now on. And I want to kosher my kitchen. Say, good, okay. Kosher your kitchen. What do you have? All I have is one pot. That's my whole kitchen. One pot. And I don't cook in it anything forbidden. One second. 1 minute. Hello. משהו כמו 7, בסדר? 7:30. בשבע. או אם אני בו יותר מוקדם, אני אצלצל, טוב? Right, so you come to someone's house and they say, Rabbi, I decided I'm going to be a Baal Tshuva, and from now on, I'm going to put on tefillin. You just tell me what to do. Get money, no problem. Money is no problem. I'll buy tefillin. He buys tefillin. He says he's going to keep Shabbos. He's going to do everything. And what about koshering your vessels? So he says, all I have is one pot. I cook in it rice. That's all I do, cook in the pot rice. Never cook meat, never anything else. It'll be easy for me to keep kosher. Right? He says, yeah, but did you cook rice this Shabbos? He says, yeah, I cooked rice on Shabbos. Before I watched that video that made me do tshuva, as I cooked some rice. So, okay, that rice that you cooked is forbidden for you forever. You cooked on purpose anything on Shabbat, is that food is forbidden for you forever. Right? Is that really so? Yes. Well, we'll see. Maybe not. You say, I mean, you knew it was forbidden to cook on Shabbos, didn't you? I didn't know. I didn't know it was forbidden to cook on Shabbos. Exactly the opposite. I thought it was a really good thing to cook on Shabbos. Then you'd have a nice, hot meal or something like that. I didn't know. Oh, so that's called shogeg. That's called shogeg. That's called doing a sin unintentionally. You didn't know it was forbidden. But if he knew it was Shabbat, and he cooked purposely on Shabbat, then that food is forbidden for him forever. Not only is that forbidden, but also the pot is also forbidden for him forever. The pot. Why? Because he cooked food on purpose on Shabbat. The taste of that food is now in the pot, in the wall, even if you wash the pot out. The taste of the food is in the pot. So this person, let's say he said, you ask him, now I want to understand, did you know it was forbidden to cook on Shabbos? Yes, I did. I knew it was forbidden to cook on Shabbos, but I didn't care. I cooked this. I know that the religious people, they don't cook on Shabbos, but I wasn't religious. He says, okay, that means that you cooked on purpose on Shabbat. That food is forbidden for you forever. And so it is with anything that a person does. If he does something, he writes a letter on Shabbat, he cannot get any pleasure from that letter or from that picture or whatever forever. He did it on purpose. But other people, let's go back to the food. Other people, it's forbidden. Not only the pot, but also the food, Motzei Shabbos, immediately. You don't have to even wait at all in the time it would take to make it. Now, there's sometimes, we'll see, take an example, if you tell a non-Jew to cook food for you on Shabbat. A non-Jew, let's say you lit the fire before Shabbat, and then you told a non-Jew, cook up a steak for me on Shabbat. You can't do that. You can't do that. But on the other hand, if a non-Jew did cook for you on Shabbat, then on Shabbat that food would be forbidden. And also it's forbidden after Shabbat and the time it took to make that food. In other words, so that you won't get any profit by telling the non-Jew to cook for you on Shabbat. So you have to wait after Shabbat the time it would take to make it. That's called bichdei sheyaseh. If a non-Jew does work for a Jew, then the Jew cannot use that product, whatever was made. He cannot use that on Shabbat. And Motzi Shabbat, he also can't use it immediately. He has to wait for the time it takes to do it. Bichdei sheyaseh. One second. Excuse me. Hello. אולי תצלצלי עליה, אולי היא רוצה שתעלה, יש כניסה אחרת לאיפה שהיא נמצאת. יש לך את המספר שלה? כן, בסדר, תודה. Okay, so here we go. Let's take the most severe case. Shmerel cooked on Shabbat on purpose. He cooked rice on Shabbos. That rice is forbidden for him forever. Forever. But for other people, it's permissible immediately after Shabbat. Next Shabbat, Shmerel says, I'm not going to do that again. He tells a non-Jew that works for him, he says, Joe, cook for me for rice on Shabbat. Cooks rice on Shabbat. The rabbi happens to be walking by, and he says, Joe, what are you doing? Joe says, oh, hi, Rabbi. I learned my lesson last week, boy. I sure did. I'm not cooking anymore on Shabbat. I told my non-Jew worker that he should cook for me. And I lit the fire before Shabbat, so that's permissible for me to eat the food. It's not bishul akum. Says, Joe, good job. You're doing a great job, but you can't eat the food. You can't eat the rice. Why can't I eat the rice? Again, I can't eat the rice. You can't eat the rice because you cannot tell a non-Jew to do things for you. Okay, good. Another hour, Shabbos is over, I'll eat. He says, no, you can't eat. If a non-Jew does work for you on Shabbat, then you cannot use that work immediately after Shabbat. You can use it, but not immediately after Shabbat. You have to wait the time it would take to make that thing after Shabbat. How long did it take to cook up the rice? A half an hour? You have to wait a half an hour. That's if a non-Jew did it for you. But if a Jew does it for you, then you can eat it after Shabbat immediately. So therefore, again, a Jew that does work on purpose on Shabbat, no Jew can eat it on Shabbat. No Jew can eat it on Shabbat. And the person who did the work, he can never eat it. But other people can eat it immediately. But if a non-Jew does work for those other people, then they can't eat it on Shabbat. But Motzi Shabbat, they also cannot eat it immediately. They have to wait the time it would take to make it. Even if Shmerel, the Jew, he purposely cooked rice for other people, for the rabbi and his wife, nevertheless, on Shabbat, Shmerel can't eat it. Shmerel can never eat it. The rabbi and his wife also cannot eat it on Shabbat, but immediately Motzi Shabbat they can eat it, even if Shmerel cooked for him, cooks for them. Shalo itzrichu lahamtin can. The only time when you have to wait Motzi Shabbat, the time that it would take to make it, is only if a goy, a non-Jew, does for the sake of a Jew. We'll learn there's other cases also. She'im natir lo, because if you permit, if a non-Jew does work for a Jew, then it's forbidden for the Jew on Shabbat, and Motzi Shabbat he has to wait the time it would take to make it. Because if you allow the Jew to get pleasure from this, for instance, food, immediately Motzi Shabbat, a non-Jew cooks for him, miyad yesh lechush, we can worry, Shema perhaps, Yomer lo, you will tell the non-Jew, lasot b'Shabbat, next Shabbat, to do it for me. And the non-Jew will say to you, but Rabbi, you did this last week and it was forbidden to eat. He says, yeah, it was forbidden to eat, but now I want to eat it Motzi Shabbos immediately. So they say, no, if you tell a non-Jew to work for you on Shabbat, you can't eat it on Shabbat. And also Motzi Shabbat, you have to wait in the time it takes to get done. Kadeshi adavar muchan lo, but Motzi Shabbat immediately. Sheyasar amira lenachri, because this whole idea of saying, telling a non-Jew to work for you on Shabbat, this is a thing which is not taken seriously by people. So therefore, the rabbis made a penalty that if you tell a non-Jew to do something for you on Shabbat, it is forbidden on Shabbat and also Motzei Shabbat in the time it takes to do it. But can I feel of Israel also in a Jew that does it? But he began. Here's another case. Here is another case where you're going to have to wait Motzei Shabbat for the time it would take to do something. What a Jew that did an Isser cooked before Shabbat. He put food on the fire before Shabbat. This is totally permissible according to the Torah, but the rabbi said there are certain times that you cannot put food on the fire even before Shabbat. And if you do it, this is a Reish Nun Gimel. This is also forbidden this is also very taken lightly by people. And we should worry that maybe a person will transgress on purpose Erev Shabbat and put food in a forbidden way on the fire so that it'll be ready for him Motzi Shabbat immediately. Therefore, you have to wait for the time it would take to do a decree. Maybe you will tell Shemi Yomor La'achar Shiatchil Lehem Miba'od Yom. You will tell someone to begin cooking for you while it's still day. Okay, so there's two times when if you do work, you have to wait after Shabbat, the time it would take to do that work. You can't eat it immediately in Motzei Shabbat. Namely, if you tell a non-Jew to do work, or if you did work yourself in a time in a way that is forbidden right before Shabbat. Although ein lechush, you don't have to worry at all. Then maybe you will tell a Jew to do work for you on Shabbat, so that you'll get pleasure for it Motzi Shabbat immediately. What do we say? If a non-Jew does work for you on Shabbat, you cannot get pleasure for it on after Shabbat. You have to wait. But if a Jew does work for you on Shabbat, then you don't have to wait. Okay, but the Jew did a sin. The Jews did a sin. Okay, but he did a sin, but you don't have to wait for it. You can eat it immediately, Motzi Shabbat. So you don't have to worry that maybe if you let him do that, maybe you're going to tell Jews to work for you on Shabbat. You don't have to worry. Yisrael lo yishmalo. A Jew is not going to listen to you. A person ein adam chote v'lolo. A person will not do a sin unless he gets something out of it. Usually. Ein adam chote v'lolo. So what did we learn in this chapter? We learned in the chapter that if a person cooks purposely on Shabbat, he can never use that food. Never. He can never eat the food, can never use it. Food. He can't. But other people can immediately Motzi Shabbat. Immediately. If he tells a non-Jew to work for him on Shabbat, also the food is forbidden, but here you can't eat it immediately. You have to wait, Kadesh Yaseh, the time it would take to cook this food. That you have to wait Motzi Shabbat. And that's essentially what we learned. Let's do two more laws. Oh, we didn't finish this law. Okay, here we talked about if a person did a sin purposely on Shabbat. We're taking the example of cooking. He cooked the chicken on Shabbat. If so, that chicken is forbidden for that person forever. And it's forbidden for other Jews also on Shabbat, but immediately Motzi Shabbat, other Jews can eat it. And also, if he transgressed unknowingly an Isser on Shabbat, Gam lacherim, also for others. Even since that he made an Isser of the Torah, they were machmir, they were severe, to make him a punishment, just like in Mezi. Namely what? That if, for instance, you didn't know it was Shabbat, and you cooked up rice, or you didn't know it was forbidden to cook rice, but you intentionally cooked rice. You wanted to cook rice, you wanted to cook a chicken. You intentionally cooked the chicken, but you didn't know it was Shabbat, or you didn't know it was forbidden. So what are we going to do with a person like that? Can he eat the chicken? No. They made him a decree just like if he did it on purpose. It's forbidden for him and for others on Shabbat. Why? Why did they make it forbidden? I mean, he did it by accident. It wasn't his fault. The rabbis made a decree. Maybe he will next week do it if we permit it for him. Next week he'll cook intentionally, and he'll say that I did it by mistake. That's if he cooked what's called b'shogeg. Shogeg means he did not know it was forbidden. He intentionally cooked on Shabbat, but he didn't know it was forbidden, or he didn't know it was Shabbat, he didn't know the law. Then it's forbidden for him and for everybody else on Shabbat, of a erev, but immediately after Shabbat, it's permissible for him immediately, even for him. For sure it's permissible for others. Then you don't have to wait. You do not have to wait, and the time it would take to make it because of the reason we just finished saying. Okay, so what do we say? If you cook on Shabbat on purpose, you can never eat it. Not on Shabbat and not afterwards. Others also can't eat it on Shabbat, but they can eat it immediately afterwards. But if you cooked on Shabbos b'shogeg, in other words, you didn't know it was forbidden, then it's forbidden for you and others on Shabbat, but it's permissible immediately Motzei Shabbat for everybody. Okay, what if you cooked intentionally on Shabbat, but a rabbi told you it was okay? If you cooked according to someone that made a mistake, it's called shogeg. Or if you forgot it was Shabbat. Or also you forgot that it was a malacha. That's what I said before. You go to your rabbi and you say, Rabbi, I got a big headache. Can I cook a chicken? I know that'll make me feel better. I really feel I got a big headache and I feel really depressed. I'll cook up a chicken and then I'll be happy. And the rabbi says, okay, cook up the chicken. The rabbi wasn't thinking. He goes home and cooks up the chicken on purpose. Cooks up, but he thinks it's permissible. That's called shogeg. And what's the law? Immediately Motzei Shabbat, he can eat the chicken. And also, like I said before, he forgets that it's Shabbat or he forgets that it's forbidden. Let's learn one more. If Yom Tov comes immediately after Shabbat, it is, okay, so you have Shabbat. Okay, what did he do? Here we go. He cooked the chicken by accident on Shabbat. Not by accident, I'm sorry, in ignorance, not by accident. Wrong word. He cooked it in ignorance of the law. He really thought that it was permissible to cook a chicken on Shabbat. Either he didn't know the law or he didn't know it was Shabbat. So what do we say? It's forbidden for him on Shabbat, but immediately after Shabbat, it's permissible for him to eat. What if after Shabbat, immediately after Shabbat, is a holiday? Pesach, something. No, it can't be Pesach. Yeah, it can't be Pesach. Pesach falls on Sunday. So you have Shabbat, and then you have Pesach. Outside of Israel, you have 2 days of Pesach. And you cooked up a kosher LePesach chicken. You cooked a kosher LePesach chicken on Shabbat in ignorance. In ignorance. Either you thought it was permissible, or you forgot it was Shabbat, or a rabbi told you it was permissible. In any case, it's permissible for you immediately Motzei Shabbat. Right? But here, Motzei Shabbat is going to be a holiday. Therefore, we say this food is forbidden for you until after Yom Tov, because Shabbat cannot prepare for Yom Tov. Some people say there's no problem with that, and we should worry for the first. Some people say, don't worry about it. You can't eat it on Yom Tov because you didn't know it was Shabbat. You didn't know it was forbidden. So some people you say you can. Nevertheless, the Rebbe says, worry for the first opinion. So if a holiday falls immediately after Shabbat and you cooked something b'shogeg on Shabbat, then Motzei Shabbat, you cannot eat it because now Motzei Shabbat is a Yom Tov. You can't eat it Motzei Shabbat, but if it wasn't the Yom Tov, you would be able to eat it. All right, this is a little bit difficult. We'll talk about this more, God willing, tomorrow.